Good morning, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. Well, anything interesting happened yesterday in Berea? I don't really know if something did. Well, this is, well, if you joined us for our Thursday show, which we had on Friday afternoon, my teammate, Johnny Cleveland, pressed me to give an answer to who I thought would start the first preseason game in Chicago for the Cleveland Browns. And I thought it would be Deshaun Watson, only because of some simple logic and what we know is going on in training camp, what really is going on in training camp, not what the media members are reporting who have a natural bias for a certain quarterback or against a certain quarterback. I'm not going to say who those are. You know who they are if you watch me. So my logic was he's not going to be in the team next year. Get him out there, show other teams what he can do, and it may help his case next year when he gets cut by the Cleveland Browns to be a backup someplace. You're doing him a favor, basically. You're doing he and his agent a favor. The other point that I tried to make was that this quarterback room isn't the greatest in the world. It's not that good. I mean, there's only one good quarterback, and that's Dylan Gabriel. So if that's your standard, this isn't a very good quarterback room. And right now, the two contenders for the starting job, who everybody is, I've heard people say, well, this is an exciting competition. No, it isn't. It's two mediocre quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson's problem is what happens after the ball is snapped. Shedeur Sanders' problem is what happens before the ball is snapped. So you're looking at this and you're saying, well, last time we saw Deshaun Watson, he sucked. Very true. Still a lot of overthrows by both these guys in training camp. But the reason he would start Watson is he wants to see his team get up to the line of scrimmage on offense. Don't make any mistakes before the ball is snapped. Okay? That's what Deshaun Watson does best. Basically because he's a 10-year player going up against a second-year player. And Shedeur Sanders, let's face facts. When he was in college, it wasn't a very sophisticated offense. It was more like street ball, where you look at their guys and go, you, go down to the blue Chevy and turn around. That was basically the Colorado offense. So, yeah, it makes sense. It's logical. Now, I also said on Friday, take it with a grain of salt. This does not mean he's going to be the starter against Jacksonville, Watson. But you've got to let Todd Monken make up his mind. He is going to go with a quarterback that gives him the best chance to win. It's that simple. I mean, let's see what Watson can do against the Bears, and the next week you see what Shedeur Sanders does against the Bills. I don't get what the big deal is. I mean, you hear, and I know what the radio traffic is going to be like tomorrow. They're going to go, well, Jimmy Haslam ordered Todd Monken to start Watson. No, he didn't. Or here's the other big bugaboo. Andrew Berry ordered Todd Monken to start Deshaun Watson game one. It's a preseason game, and no, he did not. This is Todd Monken's decision. Right now, they're having meetings in Berea. They could come. Maybe he saw something he didn't like in Watson yesterday, and they're going to come out and say, well, let's start Sanders. But all the indication points that they're going to start Watson, and it's a preseason game. Lighten up, folks. There are more important issues on this team. And besides, I mean, what? Maybe he looked at both of them, and he's picking the least objectionable. I mean, the lesser of two evils. You hear that phrase all the time in politics. And it's like, I chose the lesser of two evils. Well, maybe that's what he's doing right now. Because come on, I told you Friday, what I'm hearing from camp, this quarterback room is a mess with Watson and Sanders. I found it interesting that Sanders split second team reps with Dylan Gabriel. They like Dylan Gabriel because, well, he's consistent. He gets the ball out quick and he gets the team lined up. Todd Monken is trying to eliminate pre-snap penalties. Everyone in Cleveland, everyone in the media for the last 3-4 years, Kevin Stefanski's got to go because he lets these guys get away with pre-snap penalties. You know the routine. Mini camp, media member. Well, what are you going to do about pre-snap penalties? Well, we can work it out in training camp. Training camp comes along. Media member. What are you going to do about pre-snap penalties? And Stefanski goes, well, we can get it taken care of before the season starts. Season starts. Pre-snap penalties. Media member. What are you going to do about pre-snap penalties? Well, we've got all year to work it out. Todd Monken doesn't want to wait. Todd Monken wants to go into the first preseason game without committing a lot of pre-snap penalty. So logically, you go with the 10-year pro and hope to, as a non-Watson fan, I don't care who starts as long as it's not him. And I still believe to this day, if he starts this season, that is a waste of this team's time. They've got to find out what they got in the two young guys. This is the year to find out because of all the draft capital you're going to have next year, all the money you're going to have available next year. This is the season to find out if Sanders or Gabriel is the guy. Or if neither one is, you got to find somebody who is the guy. And they don't grow on trees. Don't say Anthony Richardson because he sucks. He's sucked since he's been in Florida. He's third string. And don't say Bissett, Jacoby Bissett. He got a new deal, which basically pays him as a starter for this 1 year. So those guys are off the table. There isn't anybody out there going to come walking in that room and save this team. So they've got to go with the young guys, and they've got to figure out what they're going to do before next year's offseason. All right. Well, a lot of other stuff happened in Berea, and we'll talk about it after this. So the other biggest question mark I have is the offensive line. And yesterday, Spencer Fano pretty much anchored himself as the starting left tackle. He had a phenomenal game practice yesterday. And you probably saw the pictures on social media of the fight. But he maybe made 2 mistakes during the whole practice, team drills, individual drills, just 2 mistakes. But he is good. He is your starting left tackle. Unfortunately, DeJuan Jones looks like he's still not over his knee injury. He's stationary. He's reactionary. He waits for the defensive lineman to make a move. Then he reacts to it. No, Fano is anticipating what the defensive lineman's going to do. Therefore, he's getting a better jump on it. So Fano left tackle, Titus Howard at right tackle, Zion Johnson at left guard. Johnson and Howard, excellent run blockers. Excellent run blockers. So there's your 3 anchors. Right now, Parker Brailsford has a brace on his hand, so he can't practice at center. Luke Whippler got some reps Friday and Saturday at center. It would be great if he could come back and show the first-round talent he had going into the draft. And then you can move Elton Jennings over to right guard. But right now, good news is Taven Jenkins is back from injury. So he may be your starting right guard because KT Livingston had his worst day yesterday. He was just bad, start to finish. Team drills, individual team drills. I think that experiment is over. So you need someone to step into that right guard position, and then someone to step into the center position. Then you're running your offensive line is set because, like I said, Fano looks great. Unfortunately for DeJuan Jones, the best he is going to be is a backup left tackle. Austin Barber got in. Titus Howard got injured, but nothing serious. And so Austin Barber, a kid out of Florida that they drafted, came in and looked pretty good. He looked like a guy who hadn't had a lot of snaps with the first team. That's to be expected because he hasn't. But if Howard misses some more time, I've heard that they feel completely happy putting him in at right tackle. And that also puts him on the roster as your backup right tackle. So they just need to get that guard position, that right guard position settled. That'll clear up everything. And hopefully, I can't wait for the first depth chart by the coaches, not by the media people in the Browns, to come out so I could see what their offensive line is going to be about. But keep an eye on Austin Barber. And like I said, I think the KT Livingston experiment is over. He might make it as a backup guard / tackle, but I just don't see it. Another concern, backup tight end. Joe Royer is still out with a personal reason. You got guys after Fannin. Let's face facts. The offense is going to start out by going through Fannin. Fannin is right now, he is your most dependable guy from last year coming into this year. Jerry Jeudy still has some drops. They say he's working on it. And then you've got your two rookies, Boston and Concepcion, but they're rookies. Fannin is probably going to be your number one option. Start the season. It'll develop. The rookies will develop, but they don't really have a backup. You got guys in there who can block and occasionally catch a pass. Well, you want your second guy to be able to catch more than the occasional pass. Again, I keep talking about what's the kid's name out of BYU? Kason Ryan. I keep talking about him. They used him at tight end. They use him at fullback. They use him, and he plays wherever they tell him to, and he impresses every time. So he's probably going to make the squad, either as a fullback or a tight end or H-back, whatever you want to call it. Running backs, I think they're pretty much set. I don't see them going out and getting a running back. Quinshon Judkins looks great. Dylan Sampson looks great. And between Raheem Sanders and Amani Marshall, I think Sanders has settled down to be your number 3. And I feel good about that because he is very consistent. He's a bull. He's like Hunt. That's who he reminds me of. When Hunt and Chubb were the running backs, that's who he reminds me of. He'll get you your extra yards. He'll catch a pass out of the backfield and juke out a safety. So I think the running back is set. What do we got here? We got some questions or comments. Bingo Jeffrey. There's a reason he went in the 5th round. He is a developmental quarterback. He really, really, he came from an offense that was just, run out there and throw it. And hopefully somebody will run underneath it. I don't know why people expect him to be the second coming. But there's a reason a ton of teams passed on him. And it had nothing to do with his father. It had nothing to do with bias. It's just they need a starting quarterback. And right now, Sanders ain't it. Like I keep saying, he's just not doing the pre-snap stuff correctly. You got to get the guys lined up. You got to get the play called. If you can't do that, you can't start for an NFL team. It's that simple. And I hate to say it, but unless he has a moment of clarity before the Buffalo game, unfortunately, Deshaun Watson's going to be your starter come season game 1. And I hate that. I literally hate that. like I keep saying, I don't want to waste my time with Deshaun Watson. He's gone next year. He is absolutely gone. The only thing that would keep him, well, I wouldn't even say that. If he took the Browns to the Super Bowl and won, they couldn't afford him. They wouldn't want to afford him. I mean, so they're not going to pay a big quarterback like that. They're not going to not make that mistake again. So right now, for all the Sanderites out there, there is no conspiracy against your guy, okay? He's just not doing what the coach wants. The coach wants a clean offense. And he wants to be able to line up before you snap the ball and not have a penalty. I mean, my God, for the last 3 years, you guys are screaming about pre-snap penalties. Shedeur Sanders, that's what he does. So let's just wait and see until the season starts. Let's just see what he does. It's a preseason game. It doesn't matter. My thing about preseason game is work on the offense, work on the defense, which are both going to be completely vanilla, and don't get anybody hurt. That's it. Just get out there. You get the feel of playing against somebody besides your own teammates. Just don't get anybody hurt. That's all I care about preseason games. It doesn't matter, really. Technically, it doesn't matter because they're not running their full offense and they're not running their full defense. Jacksonville will see that. And let's just hope that by that time rolls around, Deshaun Watson is going to be your third string quarterback. I still don't know what they're going to do with him. You can't put him on the practice squad because you'd have to cut him. If you cut him, all his dead cap rises up and the team is screwed for the year. So I don't know what they're going to do with him, but they can't start him. Just can't start him. So just let Todd Monken do his magic, work these out. There's no conspiracies. It's not Jimmy Haslam making orders. It's not Andrew Berry making orders. I know the radio station I turn on tomorrow, that's one of the first things they're going to say. Even, well, Andrew Berry made his decision, or, well, Jimmy Haslam made his decision. Not going to happen. All right? Don't listen to it. It's a load of bull. Todd Monken only wants to find out what's going on. And by the way, the players love him and his coaching staff. They like the fact that he's straightforward. He will tell you how he feels. He pulls you aside when you make a mistake. And that's the way it works. That's the way it should work. They feel respected by their head coach. So just let it play out. You got to let it play out. Everybody calm down. All right? So this has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill. And as you see on that crawler down there, we are brought to you by Hemisphere Coffee and Sherry's Licorice. Go to sherryslicorice.com, type in the promo code Elves Network 15. Elves as in ELFZ Network 15, and you'll get a 15% discount on orders over $25. 25 and above. It's great licorice. And Hemisphere Coffee, hemispherecoffeeroasters.com. Shake the hand of the farmer. All right, everybody. Brace yourselves for the litany of conspiracy theories. I've already seen them. The Sanderites are going crazy. The Watsonites are going crazy. I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. So all I want is a guy who's going to start the game and win the game. That's all I care about. I don't care who it is. I don't want it to be Deshaun Watson. I really don't. I've said that a million times. You're wasting your time with him. But if he goes out there and wins in Jacksonville and wins in Tampa, I'll have to reevaluate my thought process. And that'll take me a while. I still ain't going to like him. But I like the Cleveland Browns better, and I want them to win. So everybody, have a great day. Thank you for watching, listening, subscribing, and following us here at the Fanatical Elves Network. And as always, go Browns.